where children from different backgrounds do not learn alongside one another, and too many children don't receive the same opportunities. For over 900,000 children learning in our public schools, when they think of the future, they think of classrooms so crowded that they cannot get the attention of their teacher and facilities that have long needed improvement. And for educators, when they think of the future, they think of how many of their students don't have a home to return to at the end of the day or a bed to lay their head in. How hard it is to afford a dignified life in this city on a teacher's salary, and how many of their colleagues have had to move on to another job. The future need not be something that we dread. It can be something we rewrite together so that the children of our city, the future of our city, receive opportunities far greater than those who came before them. I am proud today to appoint Kamar Samuels as New York's next schools chancellor, because this moment demands a new generation of leadership that both understands our school system and has a transformative vision on how to remake it. Kamar is that leader. He has deep experience serving at every level of our public school system across our city. He began as a teacher in the classroom in the Bronx before becoming a principal, and has since served as a deputy superintendent of School District 23 in Brooklyn and superintendent of both District 3 in Manhattan and District 13 in Brooklyn. More impressive, however, than his resume are the results he has achieved in these roles, delivering millions of dollars to integrate city schools and transitioning to new curricula that increased literacy rates by 5% in a single year. I chose Kamar for this impactful role, one which shapes the lives of nearly 1 million children each year, oversees more students than any other chancellor in the nation, and manages over 135,000 employees, because of his expansive vision of possibility for the future, and because he will lead with two qualities too rare in public service: transparency and accountability. They are the same qualities I seek to lead with from City Hall. With the appointment of Kamar, I want to acknowledge I have been skeptical of mayoral control in the past, even at times going as far as wanting to end the system entirely. This came from a deep frustration with the outcomes we see, and a firm belief that our parents, our teachers, and most of all, our students deserve better, that excellence in government means an excellent public school system. As with every policy position I take, my focus is on outcomes. So though I have held concerns about mayoral control, I also acknowledge that New Yorkers need to know where the buck stops, with me. They need to know to whom they should address their concerns and their fears. They need to have a firm voice in City Hall that they can count on to not only listen, but to also act accordingly. My approach to mayoral control will ensure that community involvement is not ceremonial or procedural, but tangible and actionable. I will work alongside Kamar to engage parents, teachers, and students in decision-making. We will pursue an aggressive democratization agenda to make sure the entire system has a voice. For one, our administration will improve the parent coordinator role to be a meaningful organizer of parents, rather than an administrative coordinator reporting to a principal. We want to restructure how meetings are run so that working parents can actually attend them. We cannot expect parents working 40, 50, 60, 70-hour weeks to then attend CEC meetings in person or even be plugged into when they are actually happening. We need to improve the awareness, the accessibility, and the scale of responsibility of SLT and CEC meetings. These are plans Kamar and I have spoken about, and we are very excited about what an improved approach to mayoral control can deliver for our public schools. The goal here remains the same. It remains improving teacher recruitment and retention, expanding support for students with special needs, improving literacy rates, and delivering the best public education we can in the wealthiest city, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We hold these ambitious goals together to provide more resources and services to the more than 154,000 homeless students in our city, to hire thousands more teachers, and to make our school system as great as the children it is fortunate to educate. I am also proud today to make several other high-ranking personnel announcements. Julia Curson will serve as City Hall's Deputy Mayor for Operations, an office, we can also, yeah, an office where she has served before, overseeing many of the systems that New Yorkers rely on each day. Julia joins the administration from Governor Hochul's team, where she currently holds the role of Deputy Director of Operations for Infrastructure. Her work has been felt across our state and throughout our city in ways big and small, including the Kips Bay Science Park and Research Center, which will generate an incredible $25 billion and 15,000 jobs and economic impact for New Yorkers. She also has managed the delivery of the largest infrastructure project in the country, the Hudson Tunnel Project, which is creating 95,000 jobs and generating close to $20 billion in economic activity. Her purview will be vast, from our parks to our sanitation infrastructure to ensuring that phones are silenced, to our environmental protection efforts, to emergency management and the fire department. Julia will lead a complex network of city services attended to by hundreds of thousands of the most capable people in city government. As part of her role, she will oversee the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, where she will work alongside both myself and incoming Chief Climate Officer Louise Young to tackle the climate crisis. Louise has served in that same role for Controller Brad Lander, as Director of Resiliency for the Department of Transportation, and as the Policy Director during my general election campaign. Her dedication can be seen in her thoroughness. I am also honored to announce Ahmed Tigani as the Commissioner of the Department of Buildings, where he will protect New Yorkers who work, live, and congregate across our city. He has extensive experience in the DOB, including a past role as Chief of Staff, and currently serves as Acting Commissioner of the Department of Housing, Preservation and Development. Okay, we have made 4 announcements, but what is one more? Last but most certainly not least, I am delighted to share that Emmy Liss will be joining our administration as Executive Director for the Office of Child Care, where she will lead our efforts to build the high-quality early childhood education system that New Yorkers deserve. Her expertise in this field is indisputable, and her past work as COO for New York City's early childhood education program makes her the ideal candidate as we make our city one that every family can afford. There are 5 New Yorkers standing alongside me with very different responsibilities and unique portfolios, but they share 2 things in common: a commitment to delivering a better future for those who call the city home, and to leading from City Hall with an unwavering commitment to excellence. I am grateful to them for serving this city that they each love so deeply, and I am eager for New Yorkers to experience the positive impact of their remarkable leadership. Thank you. It is now my sincere privilege to introduce your next school's Chancellor, Kumar Samuels.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor-elect. It's an honor to be here and stand before you as the next New York City Schools Chancellor. The most critical decision in a classroom is not simply the curriculum the teacher sets, but when an adult decides a child is worth fighting for. I started my career in an elementary school as an elementary school teacher in the Bronx, standing in front of students who deserved someone who believed in them and making a commitment to show up every single day for them. Because real learning doesn't happen in the abstract. It happens when a child is struggling to read, when a family is facing housing insecurity, when a teacher is stretched thin, but still giving everything they have. I know that room. I've lived it. For over 2 decades in the New York City public school system, I've had the privilege of serving at every level, from teacher to principal to superintendent, across the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Manhattan. Yes, I love the city. I have had every role, and in every role, my focus has been the same: delivering results, rooted in care, clarity, and high expectations for our students. As a superintendent, I worked to strengthen literacy by aligning instruction to the science of reading. I helped expand access to high-quality programs, including launching 17 international baccalaureate pathways. And I worked with communities to secure more than $10 million to advance school integration, because equity is not an abstract idea, it's a set of choices we make together in policy and practice. But what matters is not just what we do, it's how we do it. By listening to educators, by respecting families, by seeing students not just as data points, but as whole people with enormous potential. I am deeply honored to serve as the next Chancellor of the New York City Public Schools, together with the Mayor-elect, my man, Mr. Mamdani. We will fully fund public schools. We will invest in recruiting and retaining educators, especially in special education, bilingual education, math, and science. So every child has a teacher qualified and supported. And we will confront one of the deepest crises facing our students, homelessness. With more than 150,000 students experiencing homelessness, we will expand Every Child and Every Family is Known, because children cannot focus on learning if their basic needs aren't being met. A great city is measured not by how well it takes care of its children. And a great school system starts with leadership that knows the work from inside out. As a parent of 2 public school children myself, I believe deeply in what our kids can achieve. And together, we will make sure that every classroom in New York City is a place where learning is happening and is joyful, and teachers are supported, and students can imagine a future that is as big as this city itself. Together, we will write the next chapter of the New York City public school education, and one where our children receive every ounce of attention that they deserve. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to introduce our Commissioner of the DOB, Ahmed Tigani.
Thank you and good afternoon. I am humbled and I am honored for this opportunity to lead one of the most complex and influential building regulatory agencies in the country as the incoming Commissioner of DOB. Every year, DOB oversees tens of thousands of construction sites, processes thousands of permits each week, and manages a wide range of responsibilities for New York City's critical construction sector. But these are not just stats on a page. These are permits that represent a new home, each represents a new business, a school seat, or access to health care. Our work has real consequences, and it's felt every day across the city by New Yorkers. As a lifelong New Yorker, born and raised in Brooklyn and proud to have called many boroughs home, public service to the city isn't just a career in my family, it's a calling. Shaped by a belief in giving back to a city that supported us so many times when we needed it the most. The commitment was instilled in me by my mother, a dedicated social worker. It's shared by my sister, who fights daily for equity and inclusivity. And it's reinforced by my wife, Jen, and my son, Jonah, who remind me why the city we build must be safer, more accessible, and fairer for the next generation. So thank you so much, Mayor-elect, for this opportunity to continue to serve. Thank you to my colleagues at HPD for 5 years of wins for New Yorkers, to Commissioner Otto for his steady leadership over these past years, and to the incredible team at DOB who I look forward to rejoining soon. The Mayor-elect's charge was clear: protect lives, enable growth, and build a greener city, urgently with high standards and with accountability at every step, so every New Yorker can trust the results. With those as our North Stars, I think I join my colleagues up here when I say we look forward to getting to work.
Now our incoming Chief Climate Officer, Louise Young.
Thank you to Mayor-elect Mamdani for this great honor. It is a privilege to serve as New York City's Chief Climate Officer. I'm a lifelong public servant, and for the last decade, I have been so honored to work with New Yorkers across all 5 boroughs to advance climate justice. The very first job I was hired to do was on coastal protection for Lower Manhattan after Hurricane Sandy. I've also worked on greening our housing and building community solar so that anyone, including renters, can access clean energy. In a city where we overcome any challenge with creativity and an ethos to showing up for our neighbors, tackling the existential threat of climate change offers us the chance to dramatically reimagine what's possible and what our future can look like. The opportunity to transform our neighborhoods to be more resilient, to put environmental justice communities front and center in building our climate solutions, the opportunity to invest in and maintain the infrastructure that keeps us safe as an act of love for future generations to come. I see this work not only about tending to our environment, but also as tending to every New Yorker. My vision of our climate future includes and especially centers the most forgotten in our city, who are often the first to feel the brunt of climate disasters. The climate crisis is inextricably linked to our affordability crisis. When people cannot afford to run their air conditioners during sweltering heat waves because of skyrocketing energy costs, when outdoor workers do not have labor protections as the skies turn orange and smoggy from wildfires, and when people cannot afford to repair their homes after flood damages, it is clear that lasting solutions to climate change must prioritize working people. I am so excited and humbled to join Mayor-elect Mamdani and this amazing team and continue this work together. Thank you so much.
And now our incoming Executive Director of the Office of Child Care, Emmy Liss.
Good afternoon. I'm so grateful to Mayor-elect Mamdani for entrusting me to lead on universal child care, one of the most important pillars of our affordability agenda. When families have access to safe, reliable, high-quality child care, children learn and grow, parents are able to work and build economic stability, businesses and our economy thrive. But too often today, that is not the case. Parents are going into debt, leaving the workforce, or leaving the city entirely because they cannot afford childcare. Families with children under 6 are more than twice as likely to leave New York City. Meanwhile, childcare workers who do essential work every day earn less than 96% of all professionals in New York City. A different future is possible, and it is what we are building toward. A city where every child under 5 has access to free, high-quality childcare in a range of culturally responsive settings with appropriately compensated caregivers. As someone raising young children in Brooklyn, I know how much universal childcare would mean to New Yorkers. I would not be standing here today without the caregivers and educators in my children's lives. When I worked on the expansion of universal 3K and pre-K, I saw firsthand what it means when city government comes together to deliver for families. With the vision of universal childcare, we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to come together again, to double down on the city's investments, and to design and implement a program that truly meets the needs of families and sustains our childcare providers and educators. Thank you for this opportunity.
Would you want to come up? Best t-shirt. I just want everyone to see this incredible t-shirt that our young man is wearing. It says wanted free childcare. Thank you so much, Emmy. Thank you so much to the families. And now, if you could please join me in welcoming our incoming Deputy Mayor, of Operations, Julia Curson.
Thank you so much, Mayor-elect. I'm incredibly honored to be asked to serve in this administration. Your election really resonated with me, as it did with so many New Yorkers, in a way I didn't expect. Having spent the last year managing senseless uncertainty from Washington, D.C., your election reminded me, maybe even reminded the world, that government is supposed to work for the people. New York City hired you to bring them a New York that works for them, a New York that is for everyone and anyone. Now it's our job to deliver on that promise. I have spent the last 20 years delivering priority programs big and small, programs that were often met with skepticism. But I've also learned that with political will, vision, and creativity, nothing is impossible. The Deputy Mayor for Operations role is a big one, a portfolio of agencies that provide services that touch almost every aspect of daily life, services that, when done well, are often invisible. There should be a park nearby, open, safe, and clean, for when your kids have too much energy and you just have to get them out of the house. You should be able to walk, bike, drive, or take transit safely. When it rains or snows, the streets and sidewalks should be clear. Clean, safe drinking water should run from every faucet. And our public spaces should be places for community, where we can get to know our neighbors or take in the sounds of the city. It takes hundreds of thousands of people and dozens of agencies to deliver these services seamlessly. As my uncle used to say when we drove past a new stoplight in his town, do you know how many meetings it took to put up that stoplight? Yes, it takes a lot of meetings, thinking, and planning to get things done right. But we have to move with a sense of urgency. New Yorkers cannot afford to wait for the services they rely on. I do want to take a quick second to thank some folks. I've had the pleasure of being mentored by some incredibly impressive women: Catherine Garcia, Jackie Bray, Alicia Glenn, Mira Joshi, Marie-Therese Dominguez, and Joanne Papageorgis. I have so enjoyed learning from all of them. Also, my mother and father, who raised me with a commitment to public service and made me believe I could do anything. My children, whom I love very much, and who love me even when I forget to send them to school with a crazy hat on Crazy Hat Day. And my husband, who makes me laugh every day. Thank you all. Now let's get to work.
On-topic questions, please, for the mayor-elect and appointees. That was Ricky Morgan.
Hi, Mayor-elect.
Hi, Morgan.
One more day to say that.
Yeah.
10 more hours.
I said wait and see.
You're right.
Here we are. Here we are.
Waited and saw.
Yes.
Just hoping, just two things. One, I was hoping if you could give an update on the universal child care program. Have you had more conversations with the governor about this? Anything you can update us on with that aspect? And then secondly, was just wondering about the Gifted and Talented program. I know you said that you wanted to end that for kindergartners. Are you still hoping to do so, and what your take is on it as well? Thank you.
So I'll start with the second question first. The enrollment program for the Gifted and Talented program for kindergarten is currently open. And we have both made very clear that we do not think that children as young as kindergartners should be subject to this kind of testing. And we also will not take action that will destabilize the lives of parents across this city. So for the program that is currently active, it will continue for the case that has been laid out for this next calendar year. And then in the years after that, we will fulfill the commitment that we've made specific to kindergartners. And then to your first question, universal child care continues to be a priority for our administration. And that is in part what has made me so excited to have Emmy in someone who has been helping prepare us for this work already and now will take a lead role in this. And it has been a part of conversations that we've had both internally as well as with the governor's team. And as the governor has said herself, 2026 is the year for childcare. And we truly believe that the absence of this, it is something that poses a great risk to our city and our state in terms of the ability for working class, middle class families to afford to stay here. So we will continue to not only have those conversations, but to start to share the details of what the plan looks like. How's it going?
To clarify your position now, are you asking the legislature to continue to give you mayoral control? And if that is the case, because I think I'm understanding you correctly, how did you reach the decision to pivot from where you were before? Get rid of mayoral control, bring some change to
The position I've held has always been motivated by a desire to deliver the best quality public education for New Yorkers across this city, and a concern in mayoral control, and especially the manner in which it has been used by the current administration to push parents, students, and teachers alike out of any process, whether it be of discussion or deliberation. And I will be asking the legislature for a continuation of mayoral control, and I will also be committed with my incoming school's chancellor to ensure that the mayoral control we preside over is not the same one that New Yorkers see today. It will be one that includes more involvement, more responsibility, more accessibility of the current processes that parents are told to engage in, but so often either do not know about, do not know how to be a part of, or do not see the need to do so, given how limited the scope is of those very kinds of bodies.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm Mayor Lyon.
Hey, how's it going? Yes.
We talked to parent advocates today who tell us they didn't feel like they were included in this election process for a new chancellor, and they are the ones that feel the children of the city. Do you have a response to that? Were you talking to parent advocates and groups about your selection?
You know, I have appreciated the conversations that we've had with New Yorkers for whom education is their primary concern, whether we are speaking of parent advocates or teachers or potential chancellors. And even within our own committee, within our transition, the reflections, the suggestions, they were critical in informing not only the rigorous process that we conducted in the selection of a new school's chancellor, but also the questions that we were asking, the places that we were pushing, because we both know that the responsibility is an immense one for New York City. It is also an immense opportunity to deliver in a manner that we have not yet seen.
Yeah, and do we know if the chancellor is starting tomorrow, or when does he start?
We do know. The chancellor is going to be starting tomorrow, and I am also grateful that the current chancellor has agreed to stay on for an additional month to help with that transition so that no parent has to worry about the stability of the education system in our city.
What was the reasoning? I'm sorry, we'll burn it first. Go ahead. What was the reasoning behind not keeping Aviles Ramos and having a change mid-year? And I also have a follow-up for the chancellor. Do you want me to say it now?
Why not say it now? Everybody's doing the two questions at once today.
On the class size mandates, you've been focused on integration. What can we look forward to over the next year? Will more schools close? And also, you know, the city's already far behind its deadline. Will you ask the legislature for some maybe clarity or changing the legislation, or the law rather, to give you guys more time to implement this model?
I'm starting to regret having taken the second question as well. No, go. Come on. We'll start with the second one first. We, in the campaign, made it very clear that we take incredibly seriously the need to hire thousands more teachers. And we put forward a proposal of community to classroom, of how we would create new pathways for graduating high school seniors as well as for those who are looking to change career tracks midway through their professional life. That is absolutely something that we will be implementing, and we also know that the need for teachers exceeds that. That is the start of what we will do. And we are committed to implementing the class size mandate. It is something that I was proud to be a part of in Albany, and when we return to Albany for this upcoming legislative session, we will also make clear the kind of support that's necessary for the full implementation of that. Because as the Chancellor said, and as I also remarked upon, we cannot have it any longer that children are fighting for the attention of a teacher that has no means by which they can actually address all of the many kids in their own classroom. We have to set teachers up for excellence if we want to demand excellence of them. And to your first question, what I will say, actually, Chancellor, you want to add it?
Yeah, we are all in on meeting the class size mandate as much as possible. And I think there are several approaches, and what you can look forward to is a lot of community and parent engagement around the processes that we're going to use to get there. But we are all committed to that.
And then to your first question, I'm incredibly appreciative of Chancellor Aviles Ramos's work and the conversations that we had over the course of this interview process, the manner in which she committed herself to it, and the candor and the good faith that she engaged with all of it. And I am also excited by what our incoming Chancellor presents in terms of a vision, in terms of a set of proposals, and in terms of the partnership that we are going to build to deliver for children across the city.
Okay, I have time for one or two more, so Christopher, keep it quick.
bus delays? Okay. Czar. Yeah. You know, I take very seriously that report, those findings, and I think you'll find in the Chancellor's remarks as well as in my own that the quality of education and experience that we deliver for disabled children across the city has to be a priority. And I am at once appreciative of the fact that the bus contract was not extended to the full proposed amount, and I know that this is a challenge that we will have to address, we will have to tackle, and it will be a focus for both the school's chancellor and myself.
Thank you guys so much.
Super quick. Because you promised you would end mayoral controls on your website, talked about it even back in Albany. What do you say to people that voted for you because you promised you would end it?
You know, I have always made clear that for me, the most important thing is the outcome at hand. And I understand that the way in which mayoral control has been used, especially by this administration, has been one that has pushed parents, students, and teachers further and further away from the process. And the answer cannot be the continuation of what we have seen mayoral control to be. We have to be able to balance both the incredible responsibilities we have to implement and deliver the education plans that we have already shared, as well as the ones that we will be deliberating and then deciding upon, as well as reforming this system through an aggressive democratization approach so that those same parents who continue to have those same concerns will find them being addressed in the structural changes we are making and in the changes we are making to the positions at hand. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.